Hey guys, Dessler Magic here, and I watched the WotC live stream about the new upcoming Duskmourn set so that you don't have to. So they started with some creepy imagery, and I was like, that ain't nothing. And then, oh my gosh, they let a bunch of socially awkward Seattle liberals jump on the microphone and start talking. Okay, you don't even know Fear until you had to watch an hour of that. Technically, I didn't make it the full hour. You ever hear a grown-ass woman with a Valley Girl accent end every sentence with "so" and cackle every time she's nervous like she's Kamala Harris or something? I wanted to claw my eyes out and eat them. So, Duskmourn, scary as hell, 9 out of 10 so far. But what we did get out of it was a bunch of spoilers, so let's jump in with Doll Maker's Shop and Porcelain Gallery. This is a new room mechanic. Room is a new subtype. It's a subtype of enchantment, and it's a split card. Now, I'll take a split card over a flip card any day of the week because I don't know if anybody told anybody at WotC, but we use sleeves. So when you cast it, you pick one side or the other, and that's what you pay for. You can't pay for both. However, when it resolves and it's on the battlefield at sorcery speed, you can just pay the mana cost of the other side to unlock it. And then I assume you get both. I don't know if they really specified. I can't imagine you don't. So on the Dollmaker's side, you got whenever one or more non-toy creatures you control attack a player, create a 1/1 white toy artifact creature token. Pretty fair and written in a balanced way. Then we got a 6 cost. Creatures you control have base power and toughness, each equal to the number of creatures you control. That is insane. And they can unlock that anytime they got 6 mana. So that is just like you build up a bunch of tokens, then all out blitz. Every single creature you own turns into a universal tribal card. I mean, that's a little powerful for 6. If you ask me, that probably should be 8 or 9 mana and only locked into white creatures, and even then it would be a little overpowered. I mean, this is just pay 6, swing, win. They've got a million turns to see it coming, but still. This entire set is basically going to be stop enchantments or lose, because it's very enchantment heavy. And wait till you see what they brought back. Now, let me remind you, you can just hold this in your hand and drop it in for 6 if you do want to blindside somebody with it. So I really don't like it, but we knew from the couple spoilers that the power level is going to be completely bonkers. So next up we got Valgavoth, Terror Eater. He is the big bad. He turned the entire plane into one giant haunted house. So he started with one girl's house, and then it just kept growing and growing, and now the entire plane is one giant haunted house. So to say he's a powerful elder demon would be an understatement. So we don't know what plane this is because WotC hasn't decided yet. Is it secretly something really interesting? No. So he's a 9-cost triple black legendary creature, flying lifelink 9/9, ward, so to do anything that targets him, sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. Better hope they don't got a not dead after all. If a card you didn't control would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead so nobody gets any graveyard mechanics. And then during your turn, you may play cards exiled with Valgavoth. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than pay its mana cost. So that's a little steep, but it's really cool. So a 9/9 flying lifelink, pretty impossible to kill in the air. And if you want to hit him with a kill spell, you're going to have to sack 3 non-land permanents. This is like perfectly appropriate for the cost, for the size. My only issue is that it's Wizards of the Coast. You're probably going to be able to free cast it or resurrect it from your graveyard, which is kind of bullshit. And I'm not just talking about Modern, okay? They got some graveyard stuff going on right here. So it's not retroactive when you drop them in, so it's like stuff got to get exiled over time. You've got a little bit of breathing room, but at the same time, what are you going to do? But at the same time, it costs 9. An appropriate giant villain. They frickin' nailed it. So next up, we got Kaito, Bane of Nightmares. He's one of the few Planeswalkers that still has his spark. He's a 4-cost, obviously still blue-black, 4 loyalty, and he himself, as a Planeswalker, has ninjutsu. So you're attacking with something, you pay 3, return that to hand, and this becomes it, tapped and attacking. So during your turn, as long as Kaito has 1 or more loyalty counters on him, he's also a 3/4 ninja creature and has hexproof. Now hexproof makes sense, but you can still force them to sack him, so like, okay, that makes sense. So he's a creature 100% of the time, and honestly, they probably needed to give him hexproof. That actually kind of makes sense. Now you can still attack him directly though, because he's still a planeswalker, so you don't have to wait for like him to block you, but also he can block you. Wait, if he blocks and takes damage, does it count as loyalty? Because, I mean, I'd say obviously yes, But I am 99% sure that that stupid planeswalker that turns into a dragon doesn't work that way. But maybe he stopped being a planeswalker. I'm too lazy to look it up. Also, I don't remember his name. So anyway, +1, you get an emblem with ninjas you control. Get +1/+1. Okay, ninjas versus vampires and ghosts and stuff. Why not? 0, surveil 2. Then draw a card for each opponent who has lost life this turn. Oh, that's kind of neat. And then -2, tap target creature. Put 2 stun counters on it. Oh, this is just nice. Boy, they got out some designers who knew what they were doing for this one so far. I'm actually getting a little excited. Like, nothing's like drastically overpowered. Everything's just like appropriate so far, or at least close to it. Next up, we got Zimone, all questioning. And well, wait till you hear this one. So she's a 1/1 because duh. 1 generic, 1 green, 1 blue. And Human Wizard Legendary at the beginning of your end step, if a land entered the battlefield under your control this turn, and you control a prime number of lands, create Primo the Indivisible, a legendary 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token, then put that many +1/+1 counters on it. Oh baby, we've got like a half landfall deck already going on because of Duskmourn. All the good landfall cards already cycled out, but they added some too, so this is going to take it to another level. Now, this isn't just about, oh, I've got a lot of lands. It's about I've got the right number of lands. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. But that's not that hard to do. And they started talking about like an Evolving Wilds or Terramorphic effect where you drop in a land, but then you go get one. And I didn't really get where he was going from there because it's still +1, but I think they like dropped it. I'm not sure if this is assessed when it resolves or if it's assessed when the trigger goes on the stack. Because there are cards that work both ways to the point where I don't remember what the default is. And that actually makes a really big difference. So next up we got Winter, Misanthropic Guide. That's right, Emo's not dead. So, 3/4 legendary creature, human warlock. Apparently he is one of the last remaining humans on the plane. And he's been there so long that it started to affect him, according to WotC. Gee, I couldn't tell. So 3 color, 1 generic. It's 1 black, 1 green, 1 red, 3/4, ward 2. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws 2 cards. Yeah, control decks are going to punish you for that, and those aren't control colors. Delirium, as long as there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, each opponent has a maximum hand size equal to 7 minus the number of those card types. I don't think that'll come up much, but if you start making people discard or you can get card types up to like 7, especially when they're drawing 2 to 1, then it only affects them, but you have to pack your graveyard. Very powerful card though if you can set it up. With the amount of control, the amount of blitz, I don't think you can set it up. I don't think you can set up half the crap in this set. So once again, we're looking forward to like how well can it draft, and draft just comes down to the commons and uncommons and the mechanics. So if they can support enchantments really well in all the colors, then we're good to go. So next up we got Scrabbling Skullcrab. It's a 1 cost 0/3. I love it. Eerie, here's the new mechanic. Whenever an enchantment you control enters the battlefield and whenever you fully unlock a room, so both, target player mills 2 cards. Very, very unusual. Because you'd be helping out their Delirium, but I think Delirium isn't like a major thing in this set. But graveyard shenaniganery is going to be a thing, and apparently it's going to involve blue, which is going to make it virtually bulletproof because obviously it's also going to involve black. Next up, we got a card from the Fear Cycle. It's Fear of Immobility. I'm not sure you could call this a cycle. They kept calling it a cycle, but I think there's a lot more than 5. I say that because this is in the common slot, and that doesn't seem right, because cycles are never in the common slot. Cue everybody in the comments section reminding me of that one time they did it. So anyway, 5 cost white 4/4 enchantment creature Nightmare, and when Fear of Immobility enters, tap up to 1 target creature. If an opponent controls that creature, put a stun counter on it. Little temporary pin down 4/4, okay. Next up, we've got the Fear of Lost Teeth. That's right, that's what this one was the whole time after we saw the artwork. Everybody thought it was the Fear of the Dentist. No, you should have known that they were just going to Google top fears. People really like their teeth to stay where they are, so it's a 1/1 for 1 enchantment creature Nightmare. It has the little enchantment creature frame from a billion years ago in Theros. When Fear of Lost Teeth dies, it deals 1 damage to any target, and you gain 1 life. Next up, we've got Enduring Innocence. It's 3 cost double white 2/1 enchantment creature Sheep Glimmer. What is a glimmer? It's a new subtype. What are you, new here? But also, it's like a pleasant memory projection thing. Okay, let's just call it what it is. It's the Patronus from Harry Potter, who also covered medieval folklore, but like, okay, I'm not gonna get into it, but it shows up, they're always gold colored, and they help guide you through the evil house or whatever. So lifelink is nice, and then whenever one or more other creatures you control with power 2 or less enter the battlefield, told ya that board wipe is gonna be based on power. Dry card. This ability triggers only once each turn. When Enduring Innocence dies, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. It's an enchantment. And then the reminder text, it's not a creature. So you stop getting a 2-1 for lifelink, but then you just get an enchantment sitting there now. Enchantment leaving an enchantment ETB is going to be a thing. I think number 1 deck coming out of this is going to be White Weenie Boost. 0 mana, free card draw. I don't love it, but it's pretty narrow, so it's not too bad. Next up, we got Enduring Curiosity, the Cat Glimmer, obviously the best one for one reason. And that reason is cat. So it's a 4-cost double blue 4/3 enchantment creature, and it has flash, and whenever a creature you control deals common damage to a player, draw a card. Nice. No limit. Jeez. And then when it dies, it returns as an enchantment. Oh my god, I could see why they made this cost 4. This is kind of nuts. Next up, one of the 5 overlords, we got the Overlord of the Mistmoors. It's a 7-cost 6/6 avatar horror, non-legendary creature, even though they're supposed to be one of. And they're kind of like part of the house, or they contain parts of the house because they like adapted to blend in or something, and then they chase you, and they have impending, so it's like you can kind of see them coming just from their effects, and then they show up, which is very good flavor. And this is a 7-cost 6/6 impending 4. So if you cast this for its impending cost, it enters with 4 time counters on it. It isn't a creature until the last is removed, but you get it as an enchantment the whole time. So it's basically Suspend, but with enchantment tribal. So at the beginning of your end step, you remove a time counter from it. So by the time it rolls over to their turn, if you cast it on your turn, then it will have 3 time counters on it. Still could be a long wait. So when it enters or attacks, create 2/2/1 white insect creature tokens with flying. Now, it has no passive or triggered ability while it's an enchantment. I think that was a little weird, but I don't think it would have fit on the card, so I assume that was their intention and they scrapped it. You are really letting your opponents know that this is coming, because it's not like it's even face down. You're just showing it to them. It's powerful, but it gives people some breathing room unless you have 7 mana, in which case you probably should just win the game. Pretty good card design. Next up, Unwanted Remake. Ha ha ha, cringe. I mean, the way they presented this card was just pure cringe. Anyway, don't know what the artwork is, you got me, but it's a 1-cost instant destroy target creature. Its controller manifests dread. Oh, here we go. They've got an entire book written as the flavor text. That player looks at the top 2 cards of their library, then puts 1 onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature, and the other into their graveyard. If it's a creature card, it can be turned face up anytime for its mana cost. It's just mega manifest. So it's supposed to be like, oh, we see a thing. Is it an innocent little 2/2, or is it a big giant monster hiding in disguise as a 2/2? So instead of just, oh, defensively and let's roll the dice, most of them are going to be you doing it to yourself. So next up, Disturbing Mirth. It's a 1 black, 1 red enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another enchantment or creature. If you do, draw 2 cards. And then whenever you sacrifice this itself, manifest dread. There you go. So you could target itself, otherwise, I guess you would need like Bargain or something, and I don't even remember if that cycled out. Whether or not it did, nobody plays it. Next up, Hauntwood's Shrieker. Ooh, another mythic. Hello. So you might say, woods? There's not supposed to be woods. The whole thing is a house. Well, even if it looks like you're in a nice place with a sky and you can see the moon, it's all like an illusion, and you're still in a house. It's just a room of the house with like magic projection or something. I don't know. It's Elder Demon magic. I ain't gotta explain shit. So it's 3-cost double green 3/3 Beast Mutant, and when it attacks, manifest dread. Told ya. If you pay 2, reveal target face down permanent. If it's a creature card, you may turn it face up. Oh, you can turn an 8/8 face up for 2. That is kinda spicy. This is powerful, but it builds up over time, and it is a lightning rod for removal, but it gives you enough time to breathe and actually react to it. Are you seeing a theme here when it comes to powerful cards that are safe and appropriate? I don't like having one phase to react or I lose the game, and neither does anybody else. It's just shit card design, and they know it. Next up, Demonic Council. It's a 2-cost black sorcery and rare. Search your library for a demon card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. And then Delirium, if there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard. Instead, search your library for any card at all, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Well, in neither case, it goes to the battlefield, so I'm fine with that. So that's Marina. She's the one who made the deal with the demon in the first place to turn her house into like a haunted house or whatever. I don't remember why, but well, we saw how that went. So Marina, certified dumbass of the video. Congratulations, your trophy's in the mail. But what do you expect when your parents name you a place where you park boats? Next up, we got a veteran survivor. Nice. It's a 1 white 2/1 with survival, and that's another cool new mechanic here. At the beginning of your second main phase, if veteran survivor is tapped, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. So this is supposed to be somehow he survived combat with some scary creatures. Obviously, there's other ways to tap the creature, but okay, we'll go with it. As long as there are 3 or more cards exiled with Veteran Survivor, it gets +3/+3 and has hexproof. Haha, when you get enough XP to level up. Kinda neat. I mean, good turn 1. They put it in the uncommon slot. I think that'll just be solid. Next up, we got Winter again. This time he's a cynical opportunist. So 2 generic +1 black, +1 green, and that's other dumb ghost fighting Ghostbuster crap that really doesn't fit in anything magic, but they wanted to do it for some reason. Very, very tonally confused set, by the way. Now, this is a commander card. You could tell because it has the slightly different icon, and it says DSC instead of DSK. Obviously, Duskmourn and Dusk Commander. So, 2/5/4 cost Death Touch. Whenever he attacks, mill 3 cards, and then Delirium. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile any number of cards from your graveyard with 4 or more card types among them. If you do, put a permanent card from among them onto the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Kind of interesting. Not too powerful, but interesting. Next up, another commander card. I wanted to throw them in just because they're main characters. Velgavoth, Harrower of Souls, 4-cost black-red, 4/4 leisure creature elder demon with flying, and ward pay to life. Whenever an opponent loses life for the first time during each of their turns, put a 1/1 counter on Velgavoth, Harrower of Souls, and draw a card. Why he's so small? Because he molts his skin, becomes weaker, and then grows more powerful based on, I don't know, fear and damaging you. Something like that. I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of loose. Doesn't make a ton of sense, but who cares? Next up, Anamatu's back. Still armed with a stick, still not wearing an appropriate armor. What's she gonna learn? Anyway, another commander card. I think these are all the front cards, by the way. 2/4, 3 color, Esper Control, just kill me now. Which is, of course, white, black, blue. At the beginning of your upkeep, Surveil 2. Okay, and then each enchantment card in your hand has Miracle. That's right, they're bringing that back, but only for Commander, hopefully. Its Miracle cost is equal to the mana cost reduced by 4. Dang! All right. Universal Miracle. Boy, I'd be excited about this being a neat deck if it wasn't these 3 colors. Then we've got Zamone, Mystery Unraveler. Why is she like 5 years older in this? I don't know. They really need to send better notes to their artists. Green-blue, 4-cost 3/3 legendary creature, human wizard. Landfall straight up. Whenever a land you control enters, manifest dread. If this is the first time this ability is resolved this turn. Otherwise, you may turn a permanent you control face up. That is pretty powerful. I mean, 2 of these blow away the other 2. I don't know what else is in the deck, but my god, the power level. I would not have a fun commander night with these and hope that it's gonna be balanced against each other. That is, not a good idea. Next up, we got Pure Past the Veil. What's the Veil? Who knows? It's Christmas color, 4-cost, instant, rare. Discard your entire hand, then draw X cards, where X is the number of card types among cards in your graveyard. Yeah, they're really doubling down on Delirium. I guess if you're the victim of Control 1, call this number now to consult a lawyer, and 2. All right, the backlash is just getting worse then. But it depends upon how you build your deck. So it's not Threshold, where it's just 7 or higher cards in your graveyard. It's not the total mana cost in your graveyard. I never really liked Delirium. It never really worked. Maybe with 2.5 years worth of sets being legal, that might be different this time. But I don't know. I think it's going to fall flat on its face. In Standard, I should say. And we're back to Standard with this card, by the way. Those were just the commander cards once again. Next up, the Jolly Balloon Man, who likes to blow up people's heads as balloons. That's not creepy at all. Somebody, I assume from compliance or HR, tried to get Blake to not put this in the slideshow, and then they did it anyway. Not even kidding, unless he was. So it's 3 cost, red, white, 1/4 leisure, creature, human, clown. Told you clowns are out to get ya, never did trust them. Ya shoulda listened to me. Haste and pay 1 and tap, create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control, except it's a 1/1 red balloon creature. Really? In addition to its other colors and types, and it has flying and haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step, activate only as a sorcery. Oh, so he's just making copies. Okay. I thought Slipknot really came out against making illegal copies of stuff. Anyway, that could be hyper powerful. I almost wish it wasn't just creatures you control. I think they could have gotten a little more powerful with that. Punishing my opponent with their own cards or copies of their own cards is my favorite thing, because they cannot complain to me, okay? That's not allowed. It's your own damn card. If you think it's too powerful, you're the one running it, okay? Just saying. Next up, we got Razorkin Needlehead. It's a double red 2/2 human assassin. It has first strike during your turn, but then whenever an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to them. Oh, good, because red-black needed another ping away when they've already got Urabrask's Forge and that stupid Sheoldred card, both of which they should have banned. Well, this is going straight into my deck. Next up, from the special guest list, we've got Damnation. You know, destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated, 4 costs, you know the card. Yeah, that'll be a little detrimental to a pre-release or a draft. Just a hair, little tiny bit. It cuts both ways, but if you think you can come back faster, you got a graveyard strategy, you just won. So not a fan of that. Not a fan of extra sheets at all. Well, I like the idea, it's just they need to make the cards not legal in draft, and then I wouldn't have any problem with it. Next up, we got Norin, Swift Survivalist. 1 cost, 2/1. Damn, these survivals ain't playing. You'd think they'd be defensive, like 0/3s or something, but legendary creature, human coward. Nice. Norin, Swift Survivalist can't block. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may exile it. You may play that card from exile this turn. Oh my gosh, so as soon as it becomes blocked, you exile it. It no longer resolves combat, and then you can recast it, but only this turn. And it includes itself. Oh my gosh. Flavor text, though, this one's using their brain. I don't know what it was. Why would I stick around to find out? Damn right, we out of this stank-ass place. We're gonna go to Cabo and get wasted. Okay, who knows the reference? So I was like, F this stank-ass cabin. What real people with functioning brains would do in a horror movie.
So I said, F this stink-ass cabin. Let's go to Cabo and get wasted.
Next up, we got Velgavoth's Lair, Enchantment Land. Oh my gosh. Probably about as good of an idea as that Saga Lair, which was also technically an enchantment lair. And what else do they do? Oh, the Artifact Lands, also a great idea. Hexproof, why not? Velgavoth's Lair enters tapped. As it enters, choose a color. Tap it, add 1 mana of the chosen color. Oh, so it just counts as an enchantment. You really can't reasonably destroy it, and then it doesn't really do anything other than, you know, do 1 color. I mean, that's not the worst. There are some Eldraine cards that would go bonkers with this set. The synergy is going to be off the charts if you so choose to build a deck involving those two. I just checked. Wilds of Eldraine, still legal. Oh boy, white is going to dominate when this releases.
I got that tape that if you watch it, you die in 5 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Here, let me see that.
Speaking of that, 3 cost whiteboard wipe. Remember when Mark warned about that in the teaser? If you don't, you obviously didn't watch my video on it, which, like, subscribe, what are you doing? But, hey, double white +1, sorcery, choose 1, destroy all tapped creatures, destroy all untapped creatures. Oh, that's kind of spicy. I thought it would be based on power. Everything screamed power 2 or lower, power 2 or higher, but, no. Ah, yes, swing at me once, shame on you. Swing at me twice, no you didn't because I blew all your shit up.
Do you guys think we should split up?
No!
Well, that's it for now. We're going to see more as time goes on here. I'm not sure on the exact schedule, but honestly, who cares? Just subscribe to me and I'll cover it. There you go. Simple. Thanks for watching. What do you think of this set so far? I think the added jokes about like, oh, Midnight Meat Massacre 2 or whatever the hell that card was that got banned. They're making a second one of it. And like, haha, dumb cheerleader or whatever. Like all the dumb tropes, but they're like trying to take it seriously and it's supposed to actually be scary. And then they got the weird Ghostbuster and like ghost detection waving around, you know, EM meter crap, which is technology doesn't really fit in the Magic world, although we went to Future Space Japan, so who the hell knows? I don't know. It doesn't really come together to me, but if they take all the dumb joke crap and put it in the Commander sets, I'll be fine with that. Also, to the 3 people who've read the story, what do you think of it? I have not even attempted to read the story. I was thinking about it, but then I'm like, there's way too many chapters out. It went too fast. I've got so much work to do, so it is what it is. The last couple stories were just woke trash written by pervs, so I've got zero interest in that, which is also the level of talent that most of the writers have had lately. But if it's really, really good, and you guys say it for sure passes the Desolator community thumbs up challenge, I'll go read it, I guess. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.
Me and the girls were wanting to sneak into an abandoned mental asylum this weekend with a Ouija board. Do you want to come?
No, I don't.